The member for Fredericton South and leader of his party.
Mr. Speaker, I totally agree with the Premier that the only reasonable solution to our healthcare crisis is to negotiate a new healthcare agreement with Ottawa that recognizes that our costs are proportionally higher than those in Ontario and the Prairie provinces due to our aging population. We share this challenge with the other maritime provinces in Newfoundland and Labrador. Yet yesterday he told us he does not intend to align with Premiers King, McNeil and Ball to press Ottawa for a new health funding agreement. Instead, he told us yesterday he chooses to align with the Premiers from the Prairies and Upper Canada. Does the Premier honestly believe that Premiers Ford and Moe are going to go to bat for us on health care funding?
Hear, hear. The Honourable Premier.
Mr. Speaker, firstly, maybe I need to go back, or we both do, to read the answer to find out what was said in the House here, but I don't recall making any such statement about I wouldn't align with the provinces in Atlantic Canada to seek additional funding. I don't remember even answering something like that. I am working for alignment across provinces to grow the economy and across Western Canada as well. I'm trying to not only improve our relationships back and forth between provinces, but also look at breaking down the borders that exist for trade and working capabilities with Quebec. And we've talked about that here a lot in the House because right now we feel that interprovincial trade, there's about $60 billion in the table across Canada, and we're not taking advantage of it through Atlantic Canada. And we've met on those issues many times. But as far as the issue on getting more money because of our aging demographic and recognizing that need, absolutely, Mr. Speaker, I would be aligned with every province and have a ratio that reflects our aging demographic. And how does that compare to what we need to support healthcare? But in the meantime, we have to look at how we deliver healthcare to make sure that we can manage the services, Mr. Speaker.
The member for Fredericton South and leader of his party.
Mr. Speaker, history has demonstrated over and over again that the only time Ottawa takes us seriously is when Atlantic Canadians hang together, present a rock-solid, unbending common front to achieve our common goals. To secure the healthcare funding we need from Ottawa, political leaders of our region must come together to make common cause. I want to see a summit on healthcare funding with all party representation from the legislative assemblies of New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, Newfoundland and Labrador to build the political coalition we need to save our healthcare systems in New Brunswick and this entire region. That's how we'll get things done, Mr. Speaker. Will the Premier invite delegations from those legislative assemblies from the rest of Atlantic Canada to join us to develop a common strategy to secure the healthcare funding we need?
The Honourable Premier.
Once again, I thank the leader of the Green Party for the question. I don't rule the possibility and the benefit of having a summit, but right today, and I was just reminded by my colleague that yesterday I talked about the First Minister's meetings that this summer. So it's for all Canadian premiers to meet in Saskatchewan, and there's a number of goals that are there, and health reform and health care and health funding is one of the key items that's there. Now maybe that will turn into, and I mean all the premiers of Atlantic Canada will be at this session as well. So we are fully aligned in that, and maybe that'll turn into an Atlantic Summit on what's needed. But you know, if I was thinking about the greatest success we've had is when we're all aligned with the federal government, well, Mr. Speaker, I don't think you'd ever had a time that everybody was aligned in the last 4 years. And what did that do for us? So let's just think that doesn't always work, but it is on the agenda for this July meeting, and it'll be a prime target for an outcome that we'll be all pushing for. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.